Hey there, welcome to today's Rise Above Noise Spotlight. Each week, I have the honor of shining the light on somebody in the Rise Above Noise community who's making a real difference, who's helping others grow in their business. So if you and I haven't met yet, let me introduce myself. I am Susan Finn. I'm a digital marketing strategist with Rise Above Noise, where for the past 15 years, I've been working with transformation creators, and that would be energy healers, light workers, coaches, creatives, teachers, people who are making real changes in the world. And what I do is I walk alongside them and guide them with their own personal roadmap for their own digital marketing journey. So what that means is we're creating a system, a practice for you to show up in a way that feels generous, and so that you feel that you're showing up in service. And that means you're going to show up with more consistency for people who are already searching for you and what you have to offer. Your business is going to grow while you feel that you're in flow and ease. And that's why I'm really excited to have this conversation, to offer this conversation with Heather Maguire today, because it's one thing to create a digital marketing practice with flow and ease, right? As I guide my clients to do, but your success starts even before that. When you gain clarity on who your ideal clients are, like I know it can be scary to narrow your focus, but on the other hand, we can't possibly serve everyone. So today, Heather Maguire and I are going to offer you insights on how to define, refine your ideal client avatar in a way that we gain clarity on that, and also we become magnetic to our dream clients. How is it going to feel when you meet and get to work with your ideal client? Heather's going to run us through an envisioning practice. I think you're really going to enjoy it, so stay tuned. Here we go. Welcome to Rise Above Noise and my weekly spotlight. And today we're going to talk with Heather. So before I get into things with Heather, I wanted to first talk about, well, we're going to talk about this, right? Messaging and who we're speaking to. And if you guys have made your elevator speech, your one-liner, your who I work with statement, if you're like me, you've probably got 100 of them on little pieces of paper, depending on where you've shown up and who you've been speaking to, and. But the idea is that, and we're going to talk about this, it's hard to figure that out, but once you have figured it out, it feels just so good. So I'm going to share with you the one that I used it this morning in a new networking group. Success Champions Network is just forming out here on South Coast, Massachusetts. There's one in Boston with Erin Lubin, but Jennifer Potter is starting one in South Coast, Massachusetts. If you haven't heard of Success Champions Network, check it out or hit me up or let me know if I can give you some more information, because it's networking and business growth and referral in a way positive way, super fun. Anyway, so here's what I said today, and I would love to know you guys' how you feel about this, and maybe Heather, you'll give me some feedback on this. So the first thing that I say is that in our world, in our whole world, not just business world, in our world, all we truly have as currency is our time and our energy. And with that in mind, when I work with my clients who are transformation creators, and what I mean by that is they are energy healers, light workers, coaches, creatives, teachers, and they're very aware of their energy. And so in showing up in service for the people they're meant to attract, that they're meant to serve, they will benefit from keeping in mind their true currency, which is time and energy. So any of the work that they'll be doing, they want it to feel like flow. They want it to feel easy, and they want it to feel generous, because then they're going to have the consistency in their digital marketing practice. And I say practice because I do a lot of yoga, I do meditation. You don't get it right. You just keep doing it and keep improving every time. So in their digital marketing practice, they find the ways to show up for the people who need them so that it feels like flow and ease. How'd I do, Heather?
That was awesome. It was so lovely to just follow along on the flow of everything. And well, we're going to talk about how do you know who your client is, right? But where my brain went a little off was I'm thinking, you've identified beautifully who your clients are. And a lot of times we think our client is us. And in some facet, they will be, right? But I don't think you identify as an energy healer. I don't think you identify as, that kind of spiritual career person. And yet those are people who you work well with. Those are people who you serve beautifully, right?
Well, that's who I want to be in my world, right? Like that's the other thing. And I'm sure you're going to talk about that. Who do we want in our world? I am spiritual. I practice all the things. I'm not a spiritual guide. I'm not a yoga teacher, but I am a transformation creator. Yeah. Because in giving people permission to show up in generosity, to show up in value with ease, that means then that they get to do their things. So I'm pretty excited to get into it. So let's do this. Let's do your official bio. I want to introduce everybody to my friend Heather Maguire, who is an intuitive medium and energy coach. And here's how, oh, hold on a second. I lost it. Give me a second. Hey guys, I'm scrolling, looking. I'm not sure if I'm looking in the right place. She's an intuitive medium and energy coach. And today we're going to talk about who are my ideal clients. So identifying your ideal clients can be a challenge. Heather says it's scary to narrow your focus, but you can't possibly serve everyone. So today she's going to help us define and refine our ideal client avatar by walking us through an envisioning process that we can use at any stage of our business so that we gain clarity and we generally become magnetic to our dream clients. Now, before we get into it though, I did ask Heather what her superpower is. And she answered this, and I can attest that it's true. She reminds people that who they are is who they're supposed to be. So Heather, first of all, how did you decide that's your superpower, and how do you use your superpower? Maybe that's a good lead in for our topic today.
So when I started my business, and still, one of the most frequently asked questions is, how do you do what you do? What does a session look like? That kind of thing, trying to dig in to understand my work. And really, that's the theme that runs through every session, every class, every workshop, everything is that element. And when I realized that, I looked back at who I was before I started my business. And that was always something I was doing. I was always seeing some facet of people that they usually didn't value themselves. They usually didn't lean on it themselves. But it was this real superpower that they have. This is the truth of who they are. They have this magical way of doing whatever. And I find that when I can slow people down enough that they can receive that and feel that and recognize it, it is revolutionary and freeing. Your work to free people. This is my avenue in to free people to be themselves.
That's awesome. And I think it's so strong in so many ways. First of all, the fact that you figured that out, but also sometimes I think, all right, that we need permission. Like we almost need a hall pass or permission slip like somebody to say to us, hey, it's okay. You can be you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I did a reading yesterday, quick story, and it kept coming up over and over and over again, that this woman doesn't like sort of messy relationships. She needs people, especially close relationships, to be really responsible for how they communicate, how they interact. And not that she's not compassionate and loving, but she just needs it to be clean. If it's messy, she just gets weighed down and she can't go. And so in all these different ways, it kept being reiterated to her. And she, at the end, she just felt so great about herself, recognizing this is who I am. This is how I operate. It's not that I'm, there's something wrong with me. This is a strength that I have. So it is a powerful thing. And you sometimes do really need someone to point it out or give you permission to be that way.
Yeah, to shine that mirror, right? That reflection on you. And
Yeah.
I was saying that, talking about that with my daughter yesterday too. Like it's a reflection, but it's when you look at your reflection, it's not, it's like reverse, right? So it's it's different when somebody else looks at you than when you look at yourself in the mirror.
That's a great point. Yeah.
So let's talk about this. How, like that you said, we're going to talk about how it feels when you work with your ideal client, and how do we go about this? How are we going to start?
Okay. So I used to run our Chamber of Commerce where I live, and hosted a billion networking events. And this was pre-COVID, so before, we couldn't go out together. And you could see from the way someone entered the room how they would do at the networking event. You could tell the energy with which they carried themselves into the room, whether or not people would scatter to not be with them, whether they would be magnetic and people would want to flock to them, whether they would leave with new leads and new clients, or whether they would kind of just spend the whole time talking to someone they already knew to be safe. So I started thinking about that. And of course, the way that I work is this envisioning energy place. And so I thought it would be really cool to kind of harness that experience, which we've all been in, maybe in person, maybe online, doesn't matter either way, and walk through that experience and use that as the way to identify our clients, as the way to be magnetic to them. And there's so much science that says that mental rehearsal is powerful, right? I mean, Jack Canfield, I have a quote from Jack Canfield. He says, visualization, or the act of creating compelling and vivid pictures in your mind, may be the most underutilized success tool you possess. And this mental rehearsal, people can build muscles in their body through mental rehearsal, build muscles in their brain, neural pathways in their brain through mental rehearsal. So rehearsing this, feeling this, and trusting what shows up is a beautiful way to get in touch with how you serve, who your clients are, and to become magnetic to them. And to allow the ones that are not your clients to flow by, because you don't want to be exhausting yourself, burning up all your time and energy on people that are not your people. Right?
Right. So yes. And the question is how, right? For people, right? Like we've been to networking meetings where people are just like, their body language is here, and they get up and their energy is like, hi, I help people feel better. Like it's
yes.
Right. So so how can we help them?
Okay, perfect. Okay, so your pitch and your one-liners, all of that is important, but you've been there and you've seen the person who just kind of fumbles through it, but in that embodied place of who they are and who they serve, and it kills, right? So I want to walk everybody through an envisioning process. And obviously, if you're driving or something like that, this is not the ideal time to do it. But if you can take a few minutes to just, kind of tune into yourself, or come back to this at a later time when you can. This will help you become so magnetic to your people and help you understand who your people are wherever you are in your business, because it's always an evolution, right?
Awesome. I'm
Okay. All right. So I want to just take some nice deep breaths. You can allow your eyes to close if that is helpful, or sometimes staring off up to the right a little bit, allowing your focus to just soften is also a good technique. So either way, deepening your breath, allowing your attention to just really collapse down onto the breath entering and leaving your body. And I'm going to walk you through the most magical networking event where your people find you, because you are a beacon to them. So let's imagine that we get to go to a live in-person event. It's safe. We're excited to be there. So we've just pulled up in our car. Maybe we've got the music going. We're in a mood, right? And I want you to just really connect with, I'm here to show myself to my people. That's what I'm here for. That's the whole purpose of me being at this event, is for me to show up as myself and for my clients to see that. All right. And so in a minute, we're going to take a nice deep breath and we're going to get out of the car and we're going to go into this event. So just really soak that in. One more great big breath. I am here to show who I am. Awesome. All right. Now go ahead, get out of your car, go inside. And before you step inside this event, I want you to put your shoulders back, open up your heart. It's from this place that you are emitting all of this energy, all of this messaging about who you are. So before you step inside, I want that energy to hit the room before you do. Okay? I'm here to just show myself. Shoulders back, enter into the room. Okay? And now you're going to take a minute to just see who's there, just get a lay of the land. And immediately you are going to walk towards someone who feels like your person. Doesn't matter who it is. You're just going to find somebody right away and walk towards them, keeping those shoulders back, that heart open. Go up and introduce yourself. Try out your elevator pitch, maybe. And then see what it feels like to listen to their voice, to be standing with them. How does it feel to be standing with someone that you just know is your client? You might find that there's less of the nervous scramble for words. You might find that there's just an ease in conversation. Ask them what they do for work. Ask them who their clients are. And then I want you to tell them that you're very, very pleased to have met them, that you could tell the minute you walked into the room that they were your kind of person, and that you're going to continue to mingle, but you hope to bump back into them tonight and even leave them a business card. And you're going to turn around, and when you do, you're going to find that someone else has found you. Someone else has sensed your vibration, has felt your presence, maybe overheard your conversation, and they have found you. And you have the same conversation with them. Who are you? What do you do? How can I serve? And notice that the people in the room who are not your client don't feel like this. They feel like something else. So now you've identified my clients feel like this. When I'm with them and I'm serving, I feel like this. These can guide you as you move forward with any kind of marketing, any kind of networking. I feel like this with my people. My people feel like this to me. Okay. And now, you've now amassed a little collection, a small group of people who just really feel you and you're feeling them, and the conversation is easy. And maybe you've scheduled some follow-up calls or passed around business cards. But I want you to just take a moment now. Nobody's going to notice. But I want you to really breathe in the confidence and the awareness that you did this. It was you showing up, being seen, opening your heart that attracted your clients to you. And it's that same action that allows you to know when someone is not your person, just doesn't feel right. So go ahead, before we leave this networking event, I want you to just take one last stroll around the event. Just slowly observing, allow your body to tell you, oh, yeah, I could talk with that person. Nope, not my person. Nope, not for me. And all those nope, not for me's are so empowering. So empowering, because that means you know you, and it means you know you don't need to put time somewhere where it's not going to bloom and blossom. When you're ready, you can say goodbye to all of your new clients and head back out the door, out to your car, and do a little happy dance on the way.
Back to the days of in-person networking.
Right? But you can do the same thing, at live networking. I mean, virtual networking. You can use this. You can use this. Walk through this practice a few times, and you can really shorten it down. You can get it so you can do it in about 60 seconds, and it just zhuzhes up your energy, and you just become that magnet for it. It's like you have a billboard. People sense that. Just as you can feel when you are standing next to someone who is like, I think I need to leave. People will get it. People will get it. Your people will get it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that, Heather.
Absolutely.
Really good. And to bring it to where we are in virtual, I've been on some really nice networking where, somebody introduces themselves, and then you hop into the chat for private chat.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, that's, so then I guess that would be similar to that. But when you were doing what you just did and holding my shoulders back and opening my heart, this is an exercise. Oh, I think it happened right after 2016 when the world was shook. And I realized that the negative energy was going to be detrimental, where I took on this practice of when I was feeling that way, particularly when I was with a lot of people or on the train into Boston, when I was working in Boston, that kind of thing, where I actually visualized myself connecting with and just sending love, like sending love. And it was powerful. So it's a little bit different, but similar, right? Like sending, how can I be of service? Sending those ideas. And so now I'm going to bring it back into my world, which is in your marketing, it's pretty much the same thing. It's talking to the person that you vibe with in a way that they read your heart. They know that you're the person, And in particular, well, maybe it's because of the people I work with, not in a selly, pushy way. You use the
Mhm.
word magnetic in a few different times. And I think that's what it is, that when people understand who you are, who you stand, what you stand for, how you serve, and then they get an idea of your vibe, then you become magnetic to them. And then you need to have, and again, back to marketing, you need to have those little steps that help them take an easy step closer to you, right? So it's
Mhm.
not a networking event. It's on socials or in your emails or on your website. What's the easiest way, the no danger way for people to take that next step? And so
Mhm.
clearly my answer
Yeah.
is going to be email marketing, right? Or give them a freebie so
Yep. Yep.
that you can nurture them along and keep being generous to them and keep showing them your heart in how you can serve.
Exactly. Yeah. That's beautiful. Exactly.
Now, I do have a question before we head
Oh,
off.
yay.
Why do you like, so we're talking like business, right? Like I have this thing like
Mm.
business and there's growth and there's marketing. Let's talk about feelings in business,
Mm.
right? Like why do you believe, and I would agree with you, why do you believe that an emphasis on feelings is a benefit to us as business owners?
Because, well, I'm me. So uh, you can get so spun out in your head. You can get so spun out with all of the things, and it can take over. Especially when you're just starting a business. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do this. I've seen this. I've watched that. I've got this course. It's so much up here, right? And it's overwhelming. It's debilitating, and it becomes, rather than clarifying and supportive, it just stops you, and you become so stuck. The feelings are where there's movement, and you can take action from the feeling. And that is so important. It's so important. When you think about making a big decision, and let's say you make a pros and cons list. On the pros side could be 100 great reasons why you should do it. And on the con side could be, it doesn't feel right.
Mhm.
And you should choose the cons. You shouldn't do it. Right? There's a difference. We could dig into this a lot and talk about fear versus intuition and all of that. But at the end of the day, it needs to feel aligned with you. It needs to feel like something you really care about. Then it has all of that positive energy. It has all of that you-ness to it.
Oh, I love that.
If you're not using the feelings and you're just using your head, you're just using the, um, uh, well, I need to, the classic conversation of, well, you need to address the pain point. You need to address the whatever. And that doesn't, I'm sure it still works, but you, as the recipient of that, it can feel like a little aggravating, a little like I'm being talked down to. But if someone comes from a place of feeling, of how do I serve, that's totally different.
Mm, I love that. So as we're starting to wrap up, tell the folks listening, how do you work with your clients? What does it look like to come
Okay.
together and say, help me? What's next?
Awesome. Well, I work primarily one-on-one with people. So primarily it's a conversation like this. I call them unconventional conversations, and we cover all kinds of things, whatever your body leads me to talk about, because of where you are in your life right now and where you're wanting to go. And we move energy. We talk to people who are in spirit. We clarify who you are. We dig down and find out the truth of who you are, and we hold up a mirror to it. And I also do events and workshops and classes. And this year I am diving headfirst into all of that to really bring more opportunities, because my business is about those transcendental moments, those moments when you see yourself. And a lot of times you see yourself in somebody else. And so there's a real power in groups and workshops and events where people are able to open up their heart and be honest and vulnerable. So that is my business. And did that answer your question? So reach out, email
perfect.
me, book
Yeah,
a session,
okay.
And get on my email list, because that's where I'm going to be sharing all of my events and workshops and things that are upcoming this year.
Awesome. So to get on your email list, so Heather created a really great, you guys know I love good lead generators, freebies, right? These easy steps we're talking about for people to take that next low commitment step to kind of get to know you better. So you got to try this out. Heather has one, and you download kind of like fill in the blank, kind of like a Mad Lib. And then it kind of helps you put some of your information together. So in order to get that, you're going to go to, and I'll put this in the show notes, you're going to go to bit.ly/mad-lib-hm for Heather Maguire, mad-lib-hm, all lowercase. So go ahead and get on Heather's email list. She will give you more information. She'll let you know about how to work with her one-on-one, get in her groups, get in her workshops, when she's going live in anybody else's group, like she did with me this morning. And I think you've got it. Is there anything else you wanted to cover?
Well, you said you always share a tip, and you helped me with my link and turned it into a bit.ly link, because it was about a mile long before. So
how did I do that?
In case anybody doesn't know, like me.
Yeah, Heather's link was it's off of Flowdesk, so it was viewflowdesk.com/pages and then a bunch of numbers and letters. You guys have seen that, so it's hard to share that. So I went over to bit.ly.com, and you can I have as an extension on my Chrome, but if you don't have that extension, you just go to bit